Namaskar. Welcome back to my channel Mind Your Mind. This is Vidita. In the previous video, I talked about anxiety. How anxiety gets created in our mind and how it gets spreaded in our body. Today, we are going to understand what is normal anxiety. How normal anxiety is different from any kind of anxiety disorder. So let's begin. Suppose you have an exam tomorrow and you haven't studied at all. Suddenly your friend calls you and asks you how much have you studied. And at that point you realize that you actually need to study. If you don't study, you might fail in the exam tomorrow. So out of that worry, you start preparing for the exam. You start studying for the exam. You study for the exam, you go for the exam, you give the exam, and once the exam is done, your anxiety gradually subsides. You come back to your normal emotions. Your anxiety acted like a friend in this situation. It helped you to prepare for the exam, helped you to prepare for the worst. You prepared for the exam, and after that, the anxiety disappeared. This is a normal anxiety. Normal anxiety is more like a friend than a foe or an enemy. In few people, they find it extremely difficult to control their anxieties. We all feel anxious. Anxiety is a very basic and normal emotion. The normal symptoms of anxiety is sweating, increased heartbeat, increased blood pressure, and sometimes fidgeting. When we feel anxious, one or two or some of these symptoms appear. But there are few people who find it extremely difficult to control their anxiety levels. For example, let me take the same example. If you have an exam tomorrow, you start worrying for it, you prepare for the exam, you even give the exam. Even after you are done with the exam, you find it extremely difficult to control your anxiety levels. You are constantly in the state of worry. You are worrying about worry. This is something which does not count as normal anxiety. Even when the stressor is gone, you are still worrying. That means something is wrong about it. And this kind of worrying actually accounts for an anxiety disorder. We are going to learn more about the anxiety disorders in the next video. In this video, we are completely going to focus on what normal anxiety is. One thing which always needs to be kept in mind is normal anxiety is very basic for survival. It helps us in our survival. Normal anxiety subsides after the stressor is gone. The symptoms of normal anxiety are fidgeting, sweating, sometimes trembling, also increased heartbeat or increased blood pressure. But it all subsides once the anxiety is gone. If you or any of your friend is having these symptoms and feeling anxious before any stressor, it means that you are going through a normal anxiety. Once the stressor is gone, if you are able to control your emotion, that means you are going through a normal anxiety. But if you or any of your friend is finding it extremely difficult to control their anxiety levels even after the stressor is gone, that means something is wrong with that person's anxiety levels and it needs further investigation. We'll talk about anxiety disorders in the next video. Till then, keep dancing, keep moving, keep feeling.